Hi everyone, Mega Shorts here, and welcome to this channel update video. Now I'm going to start this video straight away by saying I am truly sorry for my lack of content over the past few months. 2015 became a very busy year for me in the end. In fact, one of the busiest years of my life. I quickly became bogged down with work, studying and other commitments, which basically got in the way and took away a significant portion of the time that I wanted to use making videos last year. But now I am back with a lot more time, which I plan on using for making videos. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about the videos that I'm planning on making soon. But first of all, I'm going to be showing you a couple of exciting things I've been working on recently. And these are my action figure cabinets. Now, these are currently devoted to my Marvel, DC and Doctor Who action figure collections because those are my three biggest action figure collections at the moment. Now, not all of the shelves are filled to the brim with figures yet, so if you see some of the shelves looking a bit empty, don't worry, it's not because I've got rid of loads of the figures. I still have them, I just need to get loads of them out of their storage boxes and add them to their specific shelves. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at the cabinets, starting with the Marvel cabinet. Starting from the top, we have a few of my mint on card Marvel figures. Now these are mostly old or rare figures which I struggled to find in retail or I paid a lot of money for. And over the past few years, I've started to appreciate just how rare some of these figures can be, and for a lot of these I'd rather not risk taking them out of the packaging, breaking them and then go for the trouble of trying to find a replacement, because for some of them I think it would be really hard or perhaps even impossible, because a lot of the figures on the shelf are really highly sought after or seriously old and hard to find because they've been long discontinued. And there are a few figures on the shelf as well which I've just decided to keep in their packaging for now, because I might keep them in their packaging or open them up at a later date. On the first shelf inside the cabinet I have a few of my Marvel 3.75 inch scale figures. At the moment I've just got a few of my figures from the movies in this one and a Marvel Infinite Series Daredevil figure from the comics, but at some point later in the year I'm planning on getting more of my 3.75 inch scale figures out and making this shelf a nice mix of figures from the movies and the comics. Up next we have my Marvel Legends figures from the Marvel movies. Most of these are from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so they're from the Avengers movies, the Captain America movies, the Iron Man movies and Guardians of the Galaxy, but there are a few that are from the Sony Amazing Spider-Man movies as well, which are not a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As you can see, this shelf is almost filled to the brim already, and with the amount of movies that Marvel has got planned, I think I might need to invest in a new shelf or maybe even an entirely new cabinet for this collection. On the third shelf down, I have my Hot Toys action figure collection. Haven't got many of these, but if you are familiar with the figures that Hot Toys make, you'll probably know that these are a lot more expensive than most other action figures that are on the market these days. They're all 1/6 scale figures, so they are roughly 12 inches tall. However, they do make figures in this scale that are a lot bigger as well, like of bigger characters, like some of the larger Iron Man suits from the Iron Man movies, like the Eagle suit from Iron Man 3 and the Hulkbuster suit from Age of Ultron, and also characters like the Hulk, who are obviously still in this scale, but because of how big they are in the movies, they're a lot bigger than the figures of the characters that are sort of normal human height, like the ones that I've got. So at the moment I've got 4 from the first Avengers movie, the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 and General Zod from Man of Steel, who shouldn't really be on this shelf because he is from a DC Comics movie, but I've got him on the shelf at the moment simply because I have nowhere else to display him. Now, I don't think this is going to be a collection that grows rapidly because these figures are, like I said before, quite expensive, but I would like to have a few more of them. I'd like to have some more Avengers ones to go alongside 4, wouldn't mind another 2 or 3 Marvel villains, and I wouldn't mind a Superman figure to go with General Zod, and, well, actually I feel more inclined to get a Superman figure at the moment to go alongside General Zod because at the moment he's the only Hot Toys figure I've got that's from DC Comics, so he is pretty much the odd one out. He's the Zod one out, so to speak. So yeah, I think these would fit quite nicely with the Big Chief Studios Doctor Who action figures as well, because those are also made in a similar way, and they're in the 1/6 scale as well. So if I ever do get any of those, I will put them on this shelf as well, even though, like I said before, this is more of a Marvel oriented cabinet, but Doctor Who was part of the Marvel comics once, so it doesn't really matter actually. On the shelf below, I have a good number of my Marvel Legends 6-inch figures from the comics. Like the Marvel Legends movie figure shelf, this shelf has one side that is dedicated to the heroes and one side which is dedicated to the villains. Now, most of the figures on this shelf were made by Hasbro, but I have got a couple that were made by Toy Biz, the original company that was in charge of the Marvel Legends line. Up next, we have my Marvel Select figure collection from Dime Select Toys. Now, these are 7-inch scale figures, so they are a little bit bigger than the Marvel Legends figures. And at the moment, I've just got a few movie Avengers figures and a couple of villains from the comics as well. And the final shelf in this cabinet is currently devoted to most of my other mint on card Marvel figures from the comics and the movies. Now, I am thinking of changing this shelf at some point soon because, to me, I don't think you can just really appreciate the variety of figures in this one because they're all in their boxes, and when, you know, you got rows of them, you can't really see them, you can't really appreciate them. But the good thing with figures when they're out of their boxes is, even if you have loads and loads and loads of them on one shelf, you can get an idea of just how many there are, and you can see loads of different characters. But this one is literally just all these box figures clustered together, so I might take these out, put them somewhere else, and then add a different collection to this shelf. I was thinking of putting my DC figures onto this shelf so that I can have this just as one comic book related cabinet rather than just a Marvel cabinet, because then with the other cabinet I could just devote that entirely to my Doctor Who action figure collection, because I don't think I'm going to be able to fit my entire Doctor Who action figure collection in that cabinet, but at least if I have another shelf free, I stand a good chance of fitting a good few more in there. That's it for the Marvel cabinet, and now I'm going to show you my DC Comics and Doctor Who cabinet. So, at the top of this cabinet at the moment, I just have a few of my mint on card DC figures, most of which are from the upcoming Batman v Superman movie, which I am super excited for. And at some point soon, I'm planning on moving some of these figures to one side so that I can fit some of my mint on card Doctor Who action figures onto this shelf as well. So on this shelf I have a mixture of my DC Comics action figures, just a few of them. There are some which I haven't been able to put on this shelf yet, but I am going to try and squeeze them in at some point soon. But as you can see, this shelf is almost filled to the brim already, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that yet, but I'll still give it a try. Anyway, on this shelf I have a few figures from the DC Universe Classics figure line, which include Green Lantern and the Flash and Golden Pharaoh as well. Also got the DC Unlimited Superman from the Injustice Gods Among Us video game, which I haven't actually played, but apparently it is quite good. And then next to those, I've got a couple of the DC Multiverse 3.75-inch scale figure sets from the Arkham City video game. And then to the far right, I have a DC Unlimited Joker, which is also from the Injustice video game, and a DC Unlimited Darkseid figure. And then behind those I have a few of the Arrow and Flash TV series figures from DC Collectibles, which I am keeping in their packaging at the moment, but I might open them at some point soon as well once I've got some of the other figures onto the shelf. Up next we have the first of my Doctor Who action figure shelves, and this is my Series 7, 8 and 9 figure shelf, which currently includes a few figures from the 5-inch scale figure line and also a few from the 3.75-inch scale line as well. Quite happy with the way this shelf has turned out. It's a nice mix of figures from the Peter Capaldi era and the Matt Smith era as well. I've been able to fit quite a few figures onto this shelf, and it is becoming quite full up now, but there's still room for the figures that I don't have at the moment, I think, and I will probably change it about a bit at some point later in the year as well, so I can fit some more figures in. And the last shelf I'll be showing you in this video is my Doctor Who Series 6 figure shelf, which is looking a bit bland at the moment because there isn't really much to it, and that's simply because this is the most recent shelf that I've started to put together. So at some point in the near future there will be more figures on this shelf, and I was considering making this a Series 5 figure shelf as well, but if I haven't got enough room for the Series 5 figures, I have plenty of room on the other shelves below to display them on as well. So, those are my two action figure cabinets. You may have noticed from some of my past videos that I still have lots of figures to add to the shelves, but at some point in the near future I do plan on adding as many as possible from my Marvel, DC and Doctor Who figure collections which haven't made it onto there yet. I've got loads of them in their storage boxes, I just need to get them out and squeeze as many of them as possible onto their relevant shelves. And before I end this video, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to my subscribers that have been patient with me over the past few months. I know I haven't given you guys a lot of content and I am truly sorry for that. Life really got in the way last year and I wanted to do so many videos, but in the end I just couldn't. But this year I plan on doing lots more action figure reviews, including Doctor Who action figure reviews, maybe some Marvel figure reviews, maybe some DC figure reviews, and maybe some other videos as well. But for now, I've pretty much just got action figure reviews in mind because there are lots of figures from the past couple of years that I'd like to sit down and do reviews of. But for now, this is me bringing this video to an end. Hopefully you've all enjoyed watching it. If you want to share your thoughts on the action figure cabinets and the figures themselves, you can do so in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you again soon.